Julie here, and today I'm going to show you how quickly you can make pretty dividers for your planner. I have a classic happy planner, and in a recent video I was showing how I have a section in my planner for Christmas pages and how I make my dividers using wrapping paper. To make your divider you're going to need card, some wrapping paper, some glue or double-sided sticky tape, scissors or a guillotine or cutter, a ruler and a pencil, and a punch for whatever size planner you use. I have a Craftelier 9-hole punch, but the Happy Planner do a punch, and there's also the Arc punch and the We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile punch. If you don't have a planner punch, there is a workaround which I will show you at the end of the video. You want to make sure that the card you use is quite thick. You can hear that this is a good thickness, 300 GSM. Obviously, the thicker the card, the sturdier the divider will be. I'm going to use my Fiskars SureCut paper trimmer rather than scissors and a ruler to do my cutting. I got this trimmer from Amazon. I do try to put links in the description if there are products that you are interested in. I do find I need to replace the blades quite often, but you can also get those from Amazon, and I often get the blades from Craftelier as well. This trimmer has a ruler, which is useful for cutting larger pieces of card. I'm going to cut the card 9 1/4 inches by 7 3/8 of an inch, which is the width you need if you want a tab on your divider. It's useful to use the lip here to butt the card up against when you're cutting to make sure that you get it straight. So 9 1/4 inch. Doesn't matter whether you slide up or down. And then 7 3/8 of an inch. I'm now going to cut the wrapping paper to the correct size. It helps if you cut the wrapping paper into a smaller piece before you start. As you can see, this one is a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut it a bit smaller. It's useful that they have the marks on the back of the wrapping paper nowadays. They didn't used to do that. Makes it easier for cutting, especially if you're busy wrapping presents at the moment. So I'm going to cut it slightly differently to the card. I'm going to cut it only 7 1/8 because I don't want it to cover up the tab that I've made. So again, I'm pressing it up against the lip here to keep it straight. Put the bar down and cut. This measurement will be the same, 9 1/4 of an inch. I can see that if I cut it here, I'm cutting off the tree here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to look at the pattern when I'm cutting, and I'm going to cut it here so that I've got the trees not cut off, and then I'm going to turn it round and adjust at the other end rather than cut the picture off in the middle. So do pay attention to the pattern when you're cutting. To make the tab, get your piece of card and take a divider from your classic Happy Planner. Choose the one that's got the tab in the position you want it to be. I want my tab at the top, so I'm using this one. Just lay it on top. And then you can just use your pencil to trace round it. Now all you need to do is cut along the line. I'm using these smaller scissors just so that I can do the detail. It'll be a bit more awkward with the larger scissors. Now all you need to do is attach your wrapping paper to the card using either glue or double-sided sticky. I'm going to use double-sided sticky tape around the edges just to make sure that it doesn't peel away, but I will put some Pritt stick in the middle just to hold it down. I've put the glue on. Now comes the tricky part, putting the wrapping paper on. Just want to make sure that I do get it lined up with the edge. I've stuck the paper on. If you don't get it perfectly straight, you can trim off the edges. If you're not worried about having a tab and have a piece of wrapping paper like this that's really curly, here's another way you can do it. So I've glued my card, I've cut the piece of wrapping paper larger, and then I can cut the excess off. All I need to do is lay the paper down and just press it like this so that it's nice and flat. And then you can cut around. Using the larger scissors for this. And there you have it. Get your hole punch, line it up. Do make sure that you push it in as far as it will go. And there's your divider. If you haven't got a 9-hole punch, you can make the holes just using a single hole punch. All you would do is cut your card, put a divider on the top and mark where the holes would be. Then take your single hole punch, line it up with the marks you've made, and you can see it's not exact, but it will work. You do get better at it with practice. I think it was just that first one that went a little bit wonky. And now all you need to do is take your scissors and cut up at an angle. Just a little V, quite narrow, doesn't need to be too big. And if you do that for each one, then you're making your own holes. So I've cut all the holes. As I say, this is what I used to do all the time before I bought a punch. But I will say that having a punch is a really useful thing to have. So here's a planner, and I'll just show you how the page pops in, and it turns perfectly fine. I hope you found it useful seeing how you can make dividers for your planner. It's a great way to use up any wrapping paper you've got left over and save yourself a bit of money. Of course, you can make dividers for other seasons of the year as well. That's what I do using scrapbook paper. Some people laminate their dividers. It's not something I've tried because I don't have a laminator, and I hear it can be tricky using the hole punch to get through the thickness of card and laminating pouch. But I do know that there are people who've done it successfully, so it's up to you whether you want to try it. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the box below. I'd love to hear your ideas for future videos. Have a good week, take care, and see you soon.